Hello, welcome to Ephemera Files by Tommy. And today I am just finishing up an organizing project, and I'm going to show you to it. I'm going to show it to you. And then I'm going to come back and show you how I made it work for me. And I will have links to all of the things that I used to make it in the description box below. I am still working on organizing and reorganizing my studio, and any of you who have a studio, you know that this is an ongoing process. But this is something that I did come up with that I'm going to share with you today, and it is these little boxes here and here. And they are just under my work table that my husband made for me. Actually, he made part of it because the glass is all that's left, because we took the frame out from under it, and I've got it stacked on these cube units right here. And this spot right here is the perfect size for these two trolley carts. And I love that I can just put things out of the way, and I can roll these out and get to the things that are in those boxes that I don't need quite so often, but I do want to be able to get to them and find what I'm needing. And if you'll notice, I actually have two empty trays there because of my organizing and reorganizing. Yay! Actually, I now have a few empty spots, and I'm looking forward to getting the rest of this done. I start with this box, and I got these boxes for shipping from Amazon, but then I pulled some of them out of my Etsy shopkeeping stuff to help organize some little things. Like this little box here is pendants. And sometimes you just need a way to keep your things separated into smaller groups instead of just saying jewelry pieces or pretty stuff or whatever. I like to micro organize. So I made myself, when I did the first box, I made a template, and I measured this flap right here. And you see how much trouble I had getting that open? That's part of the reason that I did this, because I did just have all the stuff in these boxes. I put a little post-it note on there to tell me what was in it. I measured this flap, and it's the one that tucks in, and I made a template. I measured out a piece of chipboard that was the same size as the flap. I put this into the corner. Now this is for the inside corner. You'll notice it says align right there, but it is not aligned right now with the inside of that corner. And then I measured my little label thing here. I measured where I wanted it to be on the front. Now, had I been thinking a little bit further in advance, I probably would have moved it up to there so that my regular hole punch or my crocodile could reach that far. Being right in the center was too far, and so I have to use my great big bite thing. And not that I mind, but if you don't have one, that's something to keep in the forefront of your mind. I also made this little piece here, and what I did was I traced the inside of the label holder, and then I measured how big it needed to be for the paper to fit inside of it, so that I could cut a bunch of pieces that size, just to be prepared ahead of time. The next step is to lay this down on the inside of your flap and align that corner where you've got it marked and then mark your 2 spots where your holes are going to be punched. You could actually do this with just like a pokey tool or something, whatever it is that you have that you can make a hole with. Then, like I said, I have to use my big bite because my other one doesn't fit. I just make holes where those 2 marks are. Right there. My next step, these come with screws because they're meant to be put into like library card boxes or something wooden, and I don't need to use screws for this. So I picked out 2 of my brads that kind of went with the finish. It doesn't have to go with it. I could have gone through and done multicolored brads because I have a lot of brads, but I'm just poking that through there and spreading the prongs apart. Come back in, spread those prongs apart, and then where'd I set my pen? I just had it. There it is, behind the glue. And then I know from the template approximately where I can write, and this is not my best writing because I'm trying to write tiny. I will probably come back and redo the labels. I can do that. I can write on the back side, and that just slides right in there. And I wrote foil because it said foil on here, so it's a good thing I have that other side, right? And it's easier to get these out with tweezers. It's not impossible to get it out otherwise. But I guess this was just to show that if you make a mistake, you can turn it over. It's just paper, people. And it was scrap paper at that. There we go. That's better. Then the last thing I'm going to do, I cut a piece of paper, and this is, oh, I didn't measure it. I think that it's a 2x3 piece of chipboard, and I used a corner rounder on one side of it. And this is because if you stack these in a shelf like I've got over there, it's kind of hard to get a hold of them, to get them out. So I come back about 1 inch as soon as my glue comes out. There we go. I let it sit too long. Open. All right. And that's just tacky glue. You can use whatever glue you prefer. And I am just going to lay that down, and then where my sign is, I'm going to align that piece with the edge of my sign. And that is going to give me a pull tab. I guess that's what it would be called, so that when I've got it sitting on the shelf, I can pull on that instead of trying to maneuver the box out. Because if I try pulling on the box, it's just going to be a big hot mess. So I'm going to let that dry. I think I may come back, and I have, let's see, there's 3 boxes in a cube, 3 cubes in each set. So that's 9, and then 2 of the cubes. There's 18 of these boxes. And I was able to micro-organize to my heart's content. And I am probably going to come back with some brown packing tape, or, you know, any kind of strong tape, just to add a little bit of extra security to that. I could use my big bite and punch it and put some brads in there, but I think that that's just a little more than I want to do with it. Right now the glue is working really well, so I may not even have to use the packing tape. There you go. Pretty quick, pretty simple, fairly inexpensive. And it works really, really well. Thank you for joining me today. And as always, be kind. Bye.